But
I like this 5ManMidas Clockwork ban. I feel like if you're a Timber Earthshaker against Clockwork Ursa, you're basically just going to grief the game. Like Clockwork can stop the Timber from Timber chaining, and then Clockwork is the classic counter to Earthshaker because you just can't cast any spells. It would be so devastating to lane against that, but I think probably what they're going to do on A team here is pick the 5 because they see exactly what the offlane is, and they have a lot of options for things that will like dumpster this Earthshaker and Timber. So let's see, what can we get? Get some like Grimstroke, that'd be decent.
And Grimstroke is something
Yoda
they have
loves
gone
to play
for. Yeah. I mean, Enchantress was still out there. Witch Doctor had been a go-to for a lot of other teams and could be decent here.
Ench would be sad. I would be so sad to be against Ench Ursa as a Timber. Like you just get slowed, you Timber chain away, Ursa jumps you, you're slowed again, still slowed by the Enchantress. You're just running 100 move speed, taking 1,000 damage. They go for the CM. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I mean, solid, strong, very strong laner. It's, you know, similar to like all of these heroes that we're listing. It's just a kill hero with the Ursa. It's some hero that can like stun and slow for him to get on top and do a little bit of nuke damage too.
10 seconds remaining.
Do you feel like 5ManMidas need to put Timbersaw like in a different lane? Like, if getting it this early, just I don't understand the play. They're gonna take the Enchantress, so a lane dominator and whatnot. But
to be totally frank,
I like the idea of having like a wild card if you're gonna take something crazy like this.
So do I. I personally don't really understand these like early phase Timber picks in NADPC. It's not every team that's doing it. It's only a select few teams. It doesn't really seem to work out, but maybe I'm an ape. Like maybe I just don't understand it yet because I haven't clicked like why people do this, which happens with some concepts in Dota, but it seems like it doesn't. It seems tough. Like I don't see how you could flex this.
Yeah, I think what we've seen mostly from the upper echelon of NA, from the top bottom, has been favoring the lanes and winning the lanes and Snap picking up those early spirit pickups instead, or pucks and such, and making sure you
First
put it.
phasing,
We're not seeing these, Timber early, team fight early. Maybe it works out here because it's more of an even type matchup in the early game, and you're expecting that you will make it out from the lane phase. When 18 plays against EG, they're probably obviously favoring lanes themselves because if they build for team fight, it's like, do we honestly think we're going to take EG through the laning phase and survive enough to play our own game of Dota? Probably not. Here, both teams should be able to play Dota from the laning phase.
This is a good Ember game, though, at least against the cores of A team. The problem is the supports. CM and Rubik are definitely good against Ember, but I mean, Ember's one of those heroes that can do fine in lane against Storm Spirit, and then just you can kite the shit out of Ursa. Like Ursa can never catch up to you until he gets like Abyssal or something.
I feel like if you wanna like really dump on the Storm in lane, it's like Queen of Pain. But then again, they picked a Ricky here, so I don't know if the last pick like a Queen of Pain. That seems kind of sus.
Queen of Pain. We've talked about this before.
I mean, it's a bad hero, right? But I think Ember.
It's a last resort mid. Like I can't think of any other heroes to pick. Okay, I guess we'll just take Quap.
Void Spirit's still out there.
Yeah,
Void Spirit versus Storm. I think it's even a better matchup from what I've heard than the Ember.
You get a Yules too, which counters Ursa because his status resist does nothing, and you can Yules off this eventual Storm Orchid as well as the CM route. So I actually really like the Void Spirit here. I wouldn't be surprised if they banned it because I think 5ManMidas needs some like fast run at you guy that's actually gonna like fight, because we have the same lineup as the last time, which was very slow. Like the Ricky Earthshaker farms his Blink, and Ricky's farming the Battle Fury at the same time. So like Ench Timber, these are the heroes that are going to be running at you. Do you care about these heroes running at you? No, not unless one of them is actually like a fighter, like Ember or Void Spirit. So I think you definitely, and Void Spirit I think is the better option out of those two right now.
And they actually banned Slaughter again and the Bounty this time.
Who else can track Invis and go off lane? What's left here? I guess. Zeus?
I mean,
Zeus off lane. Let's go.
Zeus off lane.
The hero that was banned last time that I think is incredibly good against Ricky is Underlord. I think Roots are just god tier against any mobility hero. So I mean, again, I don't know what they prioritize and whatnot, but I feel like Underlord's way better than Bounty generally in a game like this.
It's tough to pick it into like a Timber who can eventually lane against you. Like Timber's gonna probably lane against the Ursa for a bit, but then he'll eventually rotate. Invoker. Okay, what the hell is going on in this game? Huh? Offlane Shaker maybe
has been in the rigor for a lot of the mid laners in NA, but yeah, to snap it up, I guess he can be an enabler for the Ricky to take him a bit further.
Oh wait, I'm on crack actually. No, that's
you need
that's
team
still an
fight
offlane
too.
Timber.
You need more team fight.
Yeah.
It's always okay to have more team fight in a way to kind of juice through these towers and more answers for the Storm because they picked up their support duo early. They're not the easiest to kind of keep a lock onto the Storm Spirit. So,
I mean, were you saying that because you think Timber's not going to be facing up against Ursa in lane? Like, if you're Underlord, do you care about like mid to late? Like, the whole point is you're there to counter the Riki, right? That's the hero they're going to have issues with, theoretically.
It's just a bit of a block. It's not a big one because you also have like magic damage versus Timber and you have the root versus Timber, which is annoying. I agree with you. Like I think Underlord rounds out. Okay, there you go. Yeah, rounds out the draft really nicely.
I think it's just I was curious if 5ManMidas are going to try to lane swap right out of the gate and try to put Timber against Underlord early, which they can't do, and then A team is just doing this do game early.
Actually, one really interesting thing. It was actually BSJ that said this to me. What they're doing in Europe though is they're first picking the Shaker, letting it get countered, but then tri-laning with it. And then a lot of the heroes that counter Shaker are not good in tri-lanes. So maybe they actually do go aggro tri-lane with Ench Riki. That sounds pretty decent, legitimately. That sounds pretty good.
All right, real quick, we got to get predictions here though. Suns fan, I'll start with you.
A-team.
Okay,
A-team.
All right.
I'm also going to go A-team. I like the Underlord despite Timber. So I think Timber's just not that good of a hero. Not good enough.
Our panel wages that A-team is going to close this out and they will remain in the upper division. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not. We go to a break, but when we come back, we've got GoDz and special guest PPD on the broadcast.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We've got ourselves an exciting, important game number 2 between A-team and 5ManMidas. 5ManMidas on the brink of elimination. A loss here would send them down to the depths of the lower division of NA Dota, where you got to play the likes of Arkosh Gaming and whatnot. It's not a good place to be, but a win could put them in a tiebreaker scenario. So they've got to find a way to bring it back and take down A-team here. And we're going to see if some of these draft adjustments are going to be the answer. Peter, they've made some switch-ups. They've got a Timbersaw. They, again, stick with the Ench Riki. They get an Invoker mid. Do you like these adjustments that we're seeing from 5ManMidas?
It's tough, man. Invoker is such a, it's such a finesse hero, in my opinion. It really just comes down to the player, and Kits is that stand-in for this team. He's a bit of a wild card for me. I thought he played pretty well, somewhat on the last track game, but Invoker's a bit more challenging of a hero, I think.
Yeah, and we saw Prince play very well on the Storm Spirit last game, so we're going to be seeing him once again put his hand onto that hero.
He kind of came back in that game, Prince could, but he had a really slow, few minutes there where he was, 4th or 5th on net worth. But eventually, his late game Storm was definitely good. So maybe Kits will get a good early laning phase advantage, which I think is important for Invoker, and start to roam the map and put down this Ursa.
As far as some of the other changes, Timbersaw, it's going to be a tough lane potentially against the Ursa, but do you like the idea of first 2 picking the Timbersaw? I know the panel kind of talked about, we've seen a bit of this first 2 Timber, and it hasn't actually done that well.
No, I don't think it's super great. I mean, you can play Timber into Ursa like this with the Timber chain like he has, but generally you want a second sort of like ranged nuker like a Rubik or Rasta or Snapfire or Phoenix or somebody to also spam with you. But basically, he just doesn't have enough damage with that. Shaker doesn't really contribute enough to his lane besides the disposition of it.
Yeah, he got him a nice wave near to his tower to start things off, but even so, it feels like Monster is going to have a rough time. Already had a range creep or 2 get denied, so not fun for him.
Yeah, Shaker's kind of trying to contribute a bit, and Shaker is another high finesse hero that is sometimes hard to pull off.
Yep. We will be seeing the Shaker versus Rubik matchup once again. Definitely a matchup which Sabo in many ways won last game for his team. We'll see if he can make the same big plays this time around. Doesn't have the OD to get the free Astral Steal on, but if he can ever get his hands on that fissure, we've seen what he can do.
Oh, he's in big trouble now.
Top lane, Monster trying to get himself the hell out of there. There's no Earthshock to gap close, but there is a secondary fissure, so Aches are going to keep Monster alive. It looks like that's going to be the end of the aggression up top.
I don't play that much Ursa, but I think they usually go Q and E over W. but I suppose it can be good against Timber if you're like trying to deny creeps. Maybe could have got him a kill there. I think CM definitely would prefer
Monster.
that you have that spell.
Looking just to, I think, just die on purpose here. It looks like runs into a creep wave. It looked intentional. I'm not, entirely sure.
They really, they kind of messed up their lane trying to kill this CM. Things were going pretty well for Timbersaw overall, and really just kind of like forced the issue at level 2, and he really wants to be like level 3 or 4 before he gets aggressive, I think.
Good news is he's got this big, almost double creep wave near his tower. He TPs back in to get all the XP and last hits. But I imagine Shaker's going to be giving him most of this, I would say, as solo XP.
Yeah. But, nothing I love more than on CM to have a good start, and getting an early first blood means early movement speed items, which is your big flaw. This hero can be very impactful if you have a good laning phase, I think.
And they're not contesting the pull, so CM's going to be able to pull the wave back using the pull camps there. Shaker going to try to do some side pulls himself, but Ursa doing a good job keeping the wave in the lane. No, he's trying to.
Yeah, he's got it fine.
Succeeds in doing so. A-Team doing a really good job playing this top lane.
Yep, old Yoda being a good 5, salving his carry.
Like I think the second one he's used on him. Just, you mentioned
He's
the
got a
fast
tango in
boots,
his inventory.
but he has got boots, I think, coming out.
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming, and CM, that's all she needs, really. Like, a little bit of movement speed and health regen, and mana takes care of itself with Arcane Aura.
Prince
Somewhat.
mid gets harassed a little bit. Doesn't have the bottle out yet, but he's just picked it up, so he's going to be sending down the courier. There's a
Shaker got the
tornado.
4-minute rune, but this guy didn't even have his bottle yet.
Yeah.
It's just coming now. He finished the Null Talisman first, rather than bottle rushing.
I'm surprised the Shaker didn't come back mid with that haste rune, because Storm got really low to that tornado. Top lane is where the Shaker went and is trying to help out Monster, who has hit level 4 but continues to struggle.
Yeah, but it's super important that Timbersaw has a laning phase. Like, if he doesn't at least 40-60 his lane, like, where does he go? It's not like he can just go to the jungle and catch up.
Storm mid, almost dead. The tornado just barely, not enough damage. The Fairy Fire actually saves his life there. The Shaker nearby has a fissure. And Zabo gonna salve up his Storm, and also Storm gonna get some fight. Oh, he's gonna deny the rune. Enchantress has the creep there, so Storm isn't gonna get there in time. Enchantress just comes in and steals it.
Yeah, that's huge. Storm really, really needed that bottle refill, and now I think he might just have to go back to base. Oh, really quite risky playing up here.
Yeah, the Enchantress nearby does have vision with the Observer Ward.
Yeah, this is a great timing on the Enchantress here. You have level 2 enchant, and you move mid with the catapult. Not really many heroes can deal with this, and Prince ends up dying. Not the worst thing for him because he was just completely out of resources. I think he probably should have just gone base though, and it was a really great play from Shu to get both those bounty runes and prioritize those.
Yeah. Basically, anytime the mids don't get their 4-minute power rune, they're almost always trying to bottle refill using those bounties. So, Shu one step ahead, and they've got a siege creep mid. They're going to pressure this tier 1 tower and at least get some damage done to it, it looks like.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they can even go on Storm Mirror.
Yeah.
Possibly. With a good fissure block. Raindrops.
And
Not going to take a lot of damage.
Rubik's CM nearby as well, so perhaps not looking to overcommit. The Faithful is going to come out. And
Not a ton of damage, but it was some.
Yep.
Right? It's half HP. It's pretty good.
they had the
Meanwhile-
glyph there. They may have glyphed their siege creep, but unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah.
tower
Meanwhile, on the side lanes, Timbersaw's cutting up here. He's getting his farm, I suppose.
Is he just going to die here?
This is like... This isn't why you... I mean, do you really want a Timbersaw like this on your team? And that's why it's kind of strange for them to like first phase this hero, because this is what like a bad Timbersaw game can look like. He's an experienced Timbersaw player, so he kind of knows he has to do something like this to continue to play the lane by himself.
scanning.
So in that sense, it's smart.
He's doing a good job juking right now. Definitely, you mentioned, being a good Timbersaw player. He's showing he's a experienced offlane player as well with all the space he's creating in the trees. Both supports chase him around.
Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm just watching old Yoda try and search for him and imagining that's me. It's like every second longer you take looking for this guy, you feel worse and worse about your movement.
Radiant's top tower is
And these, in this early game, it matters so much for supports too, because it's a huge difference where like you can just get left behind in a game on experience if you're just roaming around too much early.
So far, so good for 5ManMidas after dropping game 1. They do have a pretty farmed Ursa to worry about, but these other 2 lanes so far have played out pretty nicely for them.
Yeah, and I thought the Lies looked quite good on the Ricky last game. So, expecting him to have another good game as well.
Has the Orb of Corrosion queued up for now. Hasn't committed to it, just holding on to the treads. We'll see how much of a fast Battle Fury he wants to prioritize versus getting some of these early game
Royal
aggressive
Jelly.
items.
Royal Jelly for Ursa and Storm Spirit is pretty huge.
Yeah, 2 heroes who both love that mana regen.
Dire's turret has been killed.
Ricky gonna snipe a courier down bottom, and yeah, looking at the side lane, same thing from Timber. Once again, playing behind the tower, not messing with the Ursa. I think recognizing that these 2 supports can't really kill him unless he gets really low.
Mid game fighting over this tier 1 mid tower, the 3v3.
CM.
Looks like it's gonna favor. Old
Team
Yoda
hold
lives.
their own. Yeah, he lives in Shu. Not going to be so fortunate, looks like. He's the one who ends up going down. Invoker trying to get those first earn charges. If they have earn charges there, they probably kill Old Yoda, but he survived
True.
through it.
Yeah, earn charges are definitely a significant amount of damage, especially in the early game. But they are doing much more tower damage. This lane is getting pushed into Dire, so they're sort of on the defending side. So a death or 2 from Radiant isn't the end of the world, I think.
Bottom lane, Ricky and Underlord battling it out. Ricky getting some good damage out. Has the Invoker nearby. Tornado going to be off the mark. I am curious, do you agree with kind of what Sunshine was saying, that it feels like Underlord is going to maybe be a better overall game matchup against Ricky than what the Bounty Hunter was, just with all the roots and stuff?
Well, I think the Underlord is definitely... Yeah, I think Underlord is better than the Ricky, and I also don't think that his Bounty Hunter was, like, impressive at all in the previous game, so... Probably could have, if you wanted to ban Underlord, it could have.
And bring down the Invoker. Nice smoke move from 18.
Underlord's just really nice against Ricky because he just blinks in and gets rooted, and then he can't cast tricks out of the trade out of that, right?
Yeah.
So it makes his game much more difficult.
Timbersaw, despite the slightly tough laning stages, top net worth on his team, so
Yeah, this guy's dominating.
he's farming every creep wave. He's also getting some jungle camps in there as well. The max Timber chain just allowing him to farm.
Yeah, but it's also giving Ursa access to not only the link creeps but also the hard camp as well. So he's on top of the net worth.
Tower. Oh, nice
Carry
fissure.
wise, by over like almost 500, 700 gold, or
Yeah.
500 right now.
That Ursa is going to have a very fast Battle Fury. Nice little play
And
by
so
the 5ManMidas mid. They timed a fissure to ensure they got the tower last hit. So the tier 1 tower has gone down now.
Yeah, this is some proper NA meta right here, man. Both carries just queued up the Battle Fury. You got the Ring of Health rush, and yep, here we go into the late game.
Yeah, the Ricky initially had the Orb of Corrosion queued up, but I think realized this is just, mode farm. Getting some
Yeah,
creeps.
I'm not sure. How do you feel about Ricky as a hero right now?
Ricky's look great. Even
You're
though
a
I lost
fan.
last game, I'm definitely a fan. I think when you
Okay.
get this uncontested free farm, the hero just looks really good with the Battle Fury Ags.
Yeah, he's not a bad laner either. Action top though, big dive.
Yep, Monster's going to get the CM
Sad.
kill, and it looks like Bloody Sky just going to be forced to ulti his way out of there as 5ManMidas is going to pressure another tower, but bottom lane, Zabo's just fine. Lies
Is under attack.
trying to pressure him. I mean, it sounds like you don't feel as on board with Ricky as a hero. What about the hero do you not like, I guess?
I think he's just really slow, and he buys a lot of farming items, and he farms a lot, and he also doesn't hit buildings at all. So I think if the enemy team plays pretty fast, his timings feel really awful. But in the last game, he kind of had just complete free farm. In this game, he's also just complete free farm. It just depends when Dire decides to push it as well. But they've also got the Battle Fury Ursa, so they're both just kind of doing the same thing. And then I think that really does favor the Ricky team quite a lot.
Yeah, and that's where I think we're seeing in these NA matchups, like same as last game, it was against a Wraith King who had the same idea. These carries aren't looking to punish these greedy Rickies by playing fast tempo.
No, definitely not. And that's hard. And it's risky, right? As a carry to say, hey, I'm going to not buy my Battle Fury, not buy my Midas, my farming item, my Maelstrom, because I want to get aggressive and fight with my team. And the problem is if you ever die in any of these fights that you're taking to your opponent, the enemy team's carry just is, farming away.
As it stands, both teams only going for a couple of kills apiece. There's a smoke up from the A-team side, but it seems like they're just poking around, not really hard committing. They are going to find Ricky at the Ancients here, though. Can they bring him down? They get him with the dust here. Lies could be in some trouble. They need to kill him fast because TPs are coming, and Lies is just going to turn and fight with the tricks of the trade onto the high ground. He gets out of there for now. Kitz shows up. The tornado catches the storm. Post-roll. Prince still has some bottle charges. He's going to heal up his mana. They're going to lose Zabo, and it looks like Prince could be in some trouble as well. The Spirit Vessel is there. He's zipping still. No more Spirit Vessel charges to play with, and CM shows up perhaps to save the day. Prince will survive for now.
Okay. Huge, well, I mean, it was close, right? They almost killed the Ricky, but the problem is they didn't have enough damage, and that's because the Crystal Maiden was, probably not where she was supposed to be. So, like, this two-man smoke is great, but, why not bring CM as well? And, you get yourself a guaranteed kill. And good reaction from Radiant to respond there. Yeah, would have been huge if Ricky went down there.
Storm, once again, trying to find this Invoker kill. EMP gets dodged nicely by Prince. They've got the detection, and Kitz cannot escape. As they want more.
Yep, Shaker.
Yeah, Ursa shows up to the party and will help secure that kill.
And he wants Roche. He's got the Possessed Mask, the best Ursa item.
Dream start for this Ursa. Lies is nearby on the Ricky. Does he go for some kind of a play or a steal? Doesn't look like he's interested.
No way. Yeah, no, that's GG to his game if he dies like going for the Aegis or something on a carry. He's like just about got his Battle Fury. And yeah, the Ursa is he's just ahead. And this is how this game is. Like, because Ursa is an item ahead of the Ricky, he's got this farming item so much faster, he's gonna take advantage of the map so much quicker. And you're gonna see it like in the mid game, like Ursa's just gonna be good to go and Ricky's gonna be like 1 or 2 items behind. I think it's usually, I mean, do you think Ursa needs a BKB this game?
I don't know if he needs it right away. I think he's used at the blink. I was gonna say I've often seen like the SMY as a second item, going for the status resist build that you've talked about, but
yeah. They don't really have that many. I mean, they have the. Yeah, I mean, maybe you just need it because they have an Earthshaker.
But for now, once the blink, which kind of suggests that he is going to be looking to pressure that Ricky before, Ricky with Battle Fury, not that scary. Ricky with Battle Fury, Axe, Crystallis, a whole lot scarier. They go on Rises, but he's got the Aegis, so not really in any danger at all.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to lose the Aegis, so it's a pretty big death, nonetheless, if he does go down. I'm not sure about the Blink Dagger on Ursa. I think this item is really good when you're like dominating the game, but I don't feel like they have like significantly better fight than Radiant at the moment. So I think he could potentially just blink into like a bad engagement.
He's going to pick it up nonetheless in mid lane.
Well, we'll see. He hasn't decided yet. Oh no, he did get it. You're right.
Yeah, it's coming out. Monster gets gone on. The Yule Scepter keeping him alive, but there is a disable to stop his Timber Chain away. Old Yoda making the freezing field to guarantee the kill, and A-Team won a tier 1 tower mid of their own.
What position are you playing these days?
Mostly playing the old 1 position.
Nice. Nice. You play Ursa?
I mostly play Ricky, Ursa. Nothing too crazy.
A real slave to the meta, huh?
I guess. Or I'm picking mid-visage,
Fair enough. Fair
Still
enough.
still trying to make that work.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
It doesn't feel good, let me tell you.
All right, so Prince is creeping up on his Orchid. Really, really close now. Things are looking good for the A-Team.
Yeah, they've
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
found a way to just take a tier 1 tower uncontested. They've got basically, when the Ursa comes to these fights, they can deal with this Timbersaw without a problem too now, so.
Yeah, Timbersaw is a bit of a joke at this point.
Trying to lead the way on the Blaze Sky. They're going to bring down one.
That's pretty good damage, actually.
Nice Tornado. That's going to catch Rises on the Ursa. He goes charging in. Once his Invoker gets disarmed. Meanwhile, back in the main fight, the Echo Slam coming into play here. Prince getting low, but surviving for now.
Could die. Prince could die.
All right, Full Lightning.
He is going to die.
Yep, he's going to die. Gets caught by the Chakram, and Ursa's just on his island. He's by himself. His teammates have all been picked off. And
It was a very bloody fight.
Yep,
A lot of dead heroes right now.
Underlord just got deleted to start things off, and felt like A-Team without the pit didn't have much control to play around.
No Monster is trolling at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think A-Team feeling like he is not on his A game. We saw him struggle a bit last game on the OD.
That's his second like tip moment this game. You know, you had the top first blood that we were just like, what? And then this one here, just I don't know, kind of just griefing his own game by chasing the Ursa there. Like Ursa has Aegis, like you have no teammates with you, like forget it, it's not happening.
A-Team, you know, they lose this fight, but they immediately seem to bounce back and put themselves in a position where they're still the ones in control.
Is under attack.
Still waiting for that Storm Orchid. Yeah, it's coming out on the Courier now, so that's going to be a pretty big item that can change how this game looks.
Yeah, I think Radiant's really desperate right now for this Earthshaker Blink Dagger. Fights just feel way too hard, I think. For them, like Ricky isn't. I mean, that last fight went. Why did that last fight go so well for them? Was it just because the Storm like didn't finish off the Shaker?
I was watching the Ursa most of the fight, so I didn't see totally what happened in the backlines. Shaker just somehow walked in and got a decent echo off, it looked like, on like really low health.
The Storm jumped him and he lived and got Echo and then like enchanted him off, and Storm was like out of mana after it. And the Ricky, I guess, was just kind of doing his own thing, which is exactly what he wants to do in fights.
Yeah, I felt like Ricky was able to just like pick supports off one by one and never got threatened.
Alright, there goes the Aegis. Just heard it.
They're fighting under a ward here. The CM walks into a Ricky, pops the Freezing Field. That's a lot of armor to buff up the CM. Will still die, but the Ricky now in some trouble. Does not have a Tricks of the Trade. And Shu on the Enchantress should be going down here. Maybe the Fissure will actually buy enough space, so Shu gets out of there. Just barely. Pit of Malice being threatened as Bloody Sky charges forward. Rises, doesn't want to hard commit on the Ursa. Doesn't have the Aegis to play around anymore. He gets thrown up in the air by the Yule Scepter from Monster, but now that Yule is on cooldown, but no enrage to fight around, so he's just going to blink out of there.
Dire's bottom
Save up. Not going to be so lucky. Stolen Tricks of the Trade. You know, he's trying to get some last highlight plays off.
Yeah, no, Ricky's not a great spell to steal, to be honest.
But they kill the Ricky, they lose a couple to do so.
Yeah, it was also a pretty active fight, but look at this Ursa's net worth, man. He is so far ahead.
Monster. Chains up to the enemy high ground. He's feeling very brave this game.
Getting a BKB, though, which is good. I just feel like these... I'm not sure. Not sure about the item build here. I'm interested to see how the fights go and how he uses the BKB to really like connect on damage, because he doesn't really have like any any maim or stun from like a Basher or Sange.
It has felt like every fight he's getting like, tornadoed, Yule, something, getting just constantly controlled. But like you say, even with a BKB, they may just kite him and run away from him. He's not playing with a Basher type item, which is now queued up as his next item.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the real timing for him. To me right now, a BKB kind of seems like a defensive item. I don't think he wants to just like a 10-second BKB blink in and just get kited, like you mentioned.
Ricky has the completed Ag Scepter, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fine too, because I don't think Ricky's going to stop farming.
A-Team.
That's kind of just what this hero does.
They smoke up. Aegster needs to... Oh, he blinks in! Oh boy.
What if that was an Echo Slam? Like, breaks Blink, with the or break smoke with the blinking echo.
That would have been like some of the fastest reactions ever.
Yeah.
Well, no shaker, which means Lies has to be. I mean, all of 5ManMidas need to be careful.
Anyways, smoke broken. Tank the gank for Ricky.
Yep.
But yeah, it's kind of that same spot as last game now, where Ricky feels weird to show on the lanes, right? Because he's afraid of Storm Spirit with the Orchid, and it's not like he has a BKB or a Manta.
5ManMidas going to send Monster onto the high ground, lead the way. They want to try set up for the shaker. With that Blink Dagger, they want a big team fight here. Monster's going to be careful. The Stormgo's jumping in on the backlines with the Orchid, gets caught by a fissure. Blink, Echo going to follow it up. They're going to lose Prince. Great play from the shaker, but his teammates, they're in some trouble. This Ursa is just absolutely bodying them. Monster could be the last casualty. One more right click will finish him off, but the miss! The smoke string keeps Monster alive. He does die to the CM in the end.
Another root.
Yep. Chain roots for days. Ricky just can't move, and Enchantress, the only survivor, is probably not going to survive for a whole lot longer. Okay,
They're gonna let her live.
All right.
Yeah, so old Yoda playing Crystal Maiden maxes W, which is I usually max the Q, but this game the root is especially good against the Ricky. Right, if you can chain that with like the Underlord pit, you can pretty much just like perma root him, which absolutely ruins him. I'm wondering if he's going to make any adjustments, because I thought last game his BKB was way too late. But then he got the rapier and was just kind of owning.
That's maybe the reason they won that fight over in the bottom jungle, was because they killed the Underlord first, so he didn't have to worry about that Pit of Malice.
Also, oh man, Ursa's going in again. We were talking shit about this Ursa's item, or I was talking shit about this Ursa's. Oh, big fight.
Another Pit of Malice coming out. This one's going to catch Monster and Kit's in the middle of it. Chain roots as Monster just can't move a muscle.
I feel, I was saying, like, I was trying to talk shit about this Ursa's item build, but Radiant is literally running on top of this Ursa. Like, I know he has the blink, but like, they kind of know where he's at, and they're just like, he's 10-second BKB'd, and they're still running into him. So, a little bit of a sus play, I'd say.
Well, another Roshan awaits A-Team, as I imagine we'll see them.
This is looking like a runaway game.
Yeah, things started pretty close in the early game, but yeah, now 25 minutes in, suddenly it's going to be a 10k plus gold lead with Aegis Cheese in the hands of A-Team. They are well and truly outplaying 5ManMidas at this point.
That's an Aegis for... Okay, giving it to Storm. Ursa will take the cheese. He's pretty hard to kill anyways.
Yeah, I just took a peek at his net worth, and you've been kind of highlighting it for a lot of this game, how he's outfarming Ricky, but it just continues to get worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, he's not just getting free farm at this point. Like, he's getting, like, free farm plus, 905. So, his GPM is absurd.
Will he make a jump and play on Monster here up top? Doesn't look like he wants to venture away from this high ground.
Yeah, his courier is basically flying him out at like a new item all the time. It doesn't stop.
Storm TP's bottom. Has the Aegis, so unless they want to commit a lot onto this Storm, they're not going to kill him.
Yeah, they're got Radiant's in super wrap mode, and their play is this Echo Slam, right? And he's got to be careful when he uses it, because if you waste it, Dire's gonna come high ground probably.
It feels nice that they gave the Aegis to Storm, because he can now go deal with the split push, and if you want to kill him, you can maybe chain disable him without the Echo. It is possible. They're gonna look to do that. I think they've recognized Prince is playing alone, so they are hunting him down. But good map awareness from Prince. He manages to get out of that bottom lane.
All right, he's gonna have DD and Arcane Rune. What is he gonna do it? What? All right, please.
Rubik saw it.
All right, here you go.
All right.
1v5 Rampage.
What's the play? Yeah, he's going to see some heroes bottom maybe soon.
He needs more mana.
Dire's structures are
Teamed in max aura. With Storm. Gotta feel bad about that one.
Yeah. He's got the jelly. CM probably saw the jelly pick up and thought, you guys don't need this aura as much.
No such thing as too much mana for Storm Spirit.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, full-on split push, Rat Dota, 5ManMidas sending heroes bottom, sending heroes top. They're just keeping the hell away from this push. As it looks like A-Team are going to look to secure those outposts now.
Curious what Monster's planning to do up in this top lane. Because I think the second he shows, Storm is just going to TP and kill him. Here he goes. What's going to happen?
Does Storm TP and kill him? Alright,
He's
Monster.
a little bit low on mana, actually. And he killed that creep wave very quickly.
And he's going to just stay and chill. Doesn't look like they're trying to punish him. I think he knows they could kill him. Like, if they TP like a support to the tier 3 tower, then TP a Storm to the tier 2, it's like a guaranteed kill, but it's not worth their time, perhaps.
No, I think so for sure. And you saw the Dyers being very diligent on the map. Really. They walked mid, took the tier 2 tower there, or supported bottom. He walked the lane all the way down. Now they've taken the tier 2 here. They may even look to poke high ground. Nope,
now,
they're going to port in and kill the Timber now.
They've had enough. They took right after they took the tier 2 towers, they decided they've had enough.
75 Pit of Malice AoE. I like that.
Monster trying to get himself out through the trees, but I don't see an escape for him. And as long as 5ManMidas aren't punishing you by getting kills elsewhere on the map, you probably feel okay about this. Monster still doing what damage he can, but will eventually go down. So we've got a bit over a minute left on this Aegis, so it doesn't look like A-Team are going to be going for any kind of huge team fight or high ground push, but just trying to control the map. And they go back bottom. This could catch 5ManMidas by surprise. Lies. Ooh, he gets away. Good use of the Underlord ultimate, though. I do like that.
It was an interesting try. Unsuccessful, but, you know, E for effort.
I don't know if you want an E for effort. Isn't that a failing grade?
Well, E is not really, you know, it's A through F. E is, it's the grade you get in kindergarten.
Okay. You showed up. You did good. And
For effort. E for effort.
right now, unfortunately for 5ManMidas, they need to do more than show up. They've yet to win a series. They've won a game, but facing elimination, and A-Team seem to have their number right now. Is the do you think the plan is kind of just to keep farming up the Riki, play to defend your high ground?
At some point, they need to take the fight, but I think that's when the Aegis runs out is your best chance. So
That's
unfortunately, you just kind of get out farmed for 5 minutes when you give up the Aegis sometimes.
well, that's exactly what they're going to do. They smoke up right as the Aegis is expiring. Unfortunately, they put an observer ward right where A-Team were waiting with a sentry, so doesn't look like they're going to actually be able to initiate with this smoke.
It's very good discipline from Dire. Very patient, you know, very calculated.
Not taking any chances here. A different look. I imagine when you guys play A-Team and, you know, you get ahead, we saw this A-Team love to just run at the enemy constantly and try and fight their way back into games. Generally unsuccessfully, but it feels like we're seeing them play a much more cautious game here.
Well, they're just, I mean, I think they're just doing a great job of playing from ahead. You know, don't take any unnecessary risks. Like, you know, sure, you could win this game in 5 minutes, but you might just easily win this game in 10 if you just play smart.
I'll continue to do so, and I think the big, maybe, I mean, we saw last game what a Riki can do with that, you know, Ag's Battle Fury Rapier, but it feels like the Riki needs like 2 more items before you can get there.
Yep,
Like, you need
Riki.
a BKB at some point as well.
Ricky's 0-2. Not a fan.
Well,
I also think he needs BKB to play this game, and he's got a Daedalus queued up, so it could be a while. I think
the Pit of Malice by
yeah,
itself has been brutal.
the Pit of Malice is too rough, and like I guess the only like what he's playing for is just like tricks of trading his ally and then blinking out when it ends. But I think the Pit of Malice, like if your ally's in the pit, like you might also just get caught by that too. Alright, they're gonna freebie on Shu here. Come on, Shu.
Shu's, you know, doing what he can. I've actually felt like he's been one of the standout players on the 5ManMidas team this game. His early game rotations helped a lot, but things have not connected here in the mid to late game as Monster gonna get caught out again. At this point, A-Team just happy to hunt and pick off all these split pushers.
Yep, and they're gonna wait for Roche and continue to, just keep all their lanes pushing, catch side lanes.
He smokes in, he blinks to the high ground, but has to blink back down. 18 were waiting for him.
Yeah, Crystal Main and Rubik were there. He was too scared to fight because he didn't have BKB, so he had to run.
Those pesky supports.
He might actually die to like a, CM freeze into Rubik lift plus CM ult. And CM is level 16. He's doing very farm. He went the magic resistance talent though, which is incorrect talent choice. But besides that, he's having a great game.
It is going to be Roche number 3 that A-Team looked to play around. 17k gold lead. I feel like we were just looking at like a 12k gold lead a few minutes ago, and with an
nobody
Aegis,
can show. It's the same story as last game. The Storm is too dominating when you get ahead like this.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So Roshan will be a long one. 3 minutes until the Roche respawn. Basically the max possible respawn time.
And Prince is doing such a great job this game. He's just walking back and forth on like the mid lane, farming what lanes and jungle he runs into. But he's basically just like rotating, to where his team is searching, right? CM is out top searching for a hero. So Storm starts walking top and then does the same thing bottom.
I like, CM getting a nice little ward in those trees as well.
Yeah, they're on full catch the rat mode.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is
And they haven't left this high ground. They always leave at least 3 heroes by this cliff by their ward. They're happy to hunt with 1 or 2, but they recognize just how strong they are.
Yeah, I'm curious at what point does Radiant say, hey, let's stop this side lane gig and, smoke, try and contest Roche or, try and take this hill back. But they seem content just to get out farmed for the last 10 minutes.
Well, perhaps Ricky's quick buy says it all. A rapier is queued up now, so
That's the
already
timing.
feeling like things are a bit desperate. They're not fighting, they're getting further and further behind. They can probably tell, we're just
Radiant's middle
getting
tower is under
destroyed in terms of economy. So Ricky's feeling like he has to go all in.
No, it seems like a decent, a Hail Mary attempt, so to say. Probably
It gives
his
them a way to
best
win the
choice.
game, Like, it feels like they're just slowly waiting to lose unless they go for something risky like this, like the Hail Mary, as you call it.
Well, it's going to come down to that fight where Dire has Aegis and is hitting your high ground. Eventually.
So bottom,
So,
again, no mana. He pops a cheese just to get this
damn,
kill.
that was insanely Chad right there.
Don't hate it. Can Radiant take the cliff? Doesn't look like it. In fact, it's the CM and the Underlord who are going to go in on them with the Pit of Malice, the Fire, and the Shivers. They're getting all the elements. Storm going to come in with some lightning onto the backlines, looking for the Invoker. They've already lost Shaker. And Invoker in some trouble as he gets pulled in by the Vortex, caught by the Frostbite. And A-Team continue to dominate.
That's what I'm talking about. Ricky Morrow, still farming, guys. Still farming. When will he come to the team fight? The hero's too slow, man. It's too slow.
I see exactly what you were talking about earlier with the Ricky. It is just not being a game where this Ricky's able to have any kind of an impact, and it's going to be an uncontested Rax pickup by A-Team. They just kind of walked over, picked off a couple heroes, and will back off and go for Roche.
Yeah, that was free racks. Nice couple kills for them there. Underlord seems like a huge problem for Ricky Morrow as a hero. Just the root is just, it's too much. Like, the idea that you have to buy a BKB, can you even go Battle Fury? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'd
looking
love
at
to
last
see
game, the Ricky wasn't affected by the bounty really at all. Whereas this game, there's a direct impact on the Ricky's game.
Nah, people like to understate the Ricky Diffusal Blade build, but it might actually just be the build if you want to play that hero.
There's an Aegis and Cheese picked up by the Dire side. Was it the Refresher or Ags? What did they get?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All right, got ourselves a Refresher on Ursa. Rises.
What? They actually have really awful Refresher heroes. Actually just have no cooldowns.
Yeah, CM ulti, but CM's your 5 position who
Yes.
probably doesn't
That
have the
would
mana
be-
pool for one thing.
It would be insane to double CM ult.
Well,
20 seconds of increased bonus armor.
Yeah, I mean, it actually is best on Ursa, I guess. Just double BKB, double ulti, even with a 30-second cooldown.
Yeah, why not? Double Abyssal Blade, you know?
Yep. Well, to the high ground they go. Got the Dragon Scale, a little bit of extra damage and armor for the Underlord on the tower, and...
Ricky's almost got his Rapier.
Yeah, that's what they're waiting for. And I imagine A-Team has seen the Relic and know it's coming, but at this point you're just like, are we really in that much danger? We're just going to drop Pit of Malice and kind of laugh at him.
It reminds me of those, like, you know, those games where you have anti-mage on your team and you're just waiting for, like, you're sitting on your high ground defending, you're just waiting for him to come back and he just never comes back. And the game just ends. And you're just like, oh, okay.
I mean, that anti-mage ends the game, you know, with like a 1-0 and 1 score.
Yeah,
die.
You've seen him before. You know that guy.
He doesn't want to hurt his KDA. Monster, he does not care about his KDA. He just goes charging in as he's been doing all game
He's
long.
anti-KDA.
Yeah. Picks up his 9th death of the game, trying to create space for this Ricky who
Prince with a little
has the
dance
rapier.
there.
Yeah. Also, another hero we haven't seen much from is this Shaker. It's been a pretty quiet game without any team fights for Mr. Shaker as well.
You'd think you'd see some good manners from, you know, these
Blink,
two NA
Echo,
teams, but
not going to happen. I think he echoed then Blink. Did I see that right? Either way.
I missed it.
Not the end of the world as A-Team going to get a couple of kills for some
He
buybacks.
has the rapier. He has the rapier.
Yeah, he has. But not sure it's going to lead to a whole lot. Storm, unfortunately, still has an Aegis, so
Yeah,
he's not
that's a
really a
problem.
viable target.
The Aegis is a problem. He does a lot of damage, though.
He got 1 kill. You know, you're saying it's one of those games where he never comes back. He did come back. He just took Mega Creeps.
He killed the Crystal Maiden, and they called it.
GG. 5ManMidas. You know, they've had a rocky Season 1 in the NA DPC, but they're going to end things with a tough loss against A-Team. A-Team, on the other hand, back-to-back wins.
Yeah,
They've
they
gotten
look
better and better
clean.
every week. Yeah.
I think these guys are doing like a really good job of, you know, taking this very seriously and improving game by game.
And they're not guaranteed to be in the upper division next season. There's still a chance, you know, Black and Yellow could force a tie if they win their last series against you guys, but
Oh no! So it's on us to beat Black and Yellow for
Exactly.
Division 2 or Season 2.
It is.
Okay. Well, I will accept that challenge. I will try to keep A-Team in Division 1.
You know, in some ways it feels like A-Team's, you know, they've earned it because they got the win against Black and Yellow, but of course Black and Yellow have a chance to still prove themselves. But it really has been a story of A-Team just improving week after week, and it seems like they've got a really good mentality with how they approach the game.
Yeah, I like it. And I think they have a strong leader in Mr. Zazbo. So excited to see what they can do.
Well, unfortunately, 5ManMidas didn't have their full roster today. They've had to stand in a couple of matches, so we'll see what happens to them. They will be
Big drama.
Guaranteed to drop. They'll be going down to the lower division. Maybe some roster changes, maybe not. Hopefully, we'll definitely be seeing them come back in some fashion for Season 2. But that does it for us. Thanks for joining us, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Pretty good games. I wasn't sure what the series would look like, but I had a great time, and these games were the first one more so than the second one. But yeah, nice to see Ricky lose again. So GG's.
Well, stop picking Ricky in your pubs as we'll head back to the panel and see what they make of a big win for A-Team.
Welcome back and rejoice, A-Team fans out there. It's going to be A-Team who secured the win in this series and may have just staked their spot in the upper division for Season 2. But we'll get more into that in a moment. I'm back, of course, with Suns fan and Jagged Suns fan, grinning from ear to ear. Why is that? Aren't you a Ricky fan? Did you pick 5ManMidas? What's going on over there?
I picked 5ManMidas for game number 1, which I don't take that bet. They should have won that game 100%.
Idiot.
That was
Oh, sorry.
idiots. Oh, you talking to me or
Yeah,
the
I was
teams,
talking to you.
Jenkins?
I was talking to you.
Oh, okay. My apologies. No, but
Got
this
him.
game was pretty clinical. I mean, that just shows the difference of having Underlord versus the Bounty Hunter, in my opinion. Underlord plus the Crystal Maiden was really cool too because he got double roots against Ricky, which Peter was talking about, just absolutely decimates that hero. And Ricky just never went for BKB. I mean, I don't think we've seen Manta against this either. I think Manta's okay on Ricky actually in games like this where you don't really want to go BKB because you get a little bit of damage. You get some potential split push with Ricky, but just ended up going for like the Glass Cannon, Blink Dagger, Battle Fury. I feel like you could still go Battle Fury into like an item before Ags in order to deal with the roots, but he just never did. And I mean, honestly, killing Ricky this game was so much easier.
I mean, did you agree, Suns fan, with what Peter had to say on Ricky? Because we've heard from a couple of perspectives now on the hero. You know, from one side, Owie, who spoke mostly to the late game of Ricky, saying it could go to be some of the best you've ever seen in the game right now. But PPD acknowledging the early game being a struggle, a slow-paced kind of movement. And he's also lacking in the ability to really hit towers and move the objective forward. I mean, sounds pretty agreeable. So I don't know if you share just pretty much similar thoughts or if there's more to it.
He's never going to hit towers regardless, unless he has a rapier or something. Even then, you don't want to be susceptible to anything. I like if you go mid, maybe Diffusal makes more sense. But if you're the position one, I think Battle Fury is just, you have to go that. I just don't think you have to go Ags directly after if you're countered in the game. And that's where they were kind of.
I think with regards to like Owie versus PPD, there's a level of like people started respecting this Ricky hero a lot more, I think, over the past couple of weeks because everybody's dealing with it in pubs and seeing it in competitive. So somebody like Sasezbo is obviously going to be thinking a lot about like what it is inherently that's like abusable and strong about this hero. And so I think the root was a really elegant solution, even though like Underlord in the lane is, you know, not the sickest thing ever. Like that lane was never going to like dumpster. Like they did fine, right? It's not some like shit on the hero, but it does make the hero hard to play in the late game. Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil.
And we have our winner interview now. Zabo back again to rep the team, the sole representative, the A in the A team, apparently. What's going on, my guy? Got to be feeling pretty good. Now you scored 2 series wins. It looks like you're on slate to remain in the upper division, barring something doesn't go crazy, of course, with the black and yellow series.
Hey,
but
man, you never know. You never
know. So I guess that's my question. You know, are you feeling any bit at ease, or are you still like anything can happen with that series?
It's not over till it's over. We'll see what happens.
He's clenched, boys. He's clenched still. All right, Suns fan, I throw it your way now.
All right, what are your thoughts on Ricky Maru as a hero right now?
I mean, the hero's definitely good. You know, you guys were up here saying, you know, Shaker's broken. I don't think Shaker's as broken as Ricky. I mean, that's for sure. I definitely.
I mean, we're talking about a 1A and 1B here. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they are pretty close. But I definitely think Ricky's a bit ridiculous. But I mean, we didn't really care. I don't know. Like when we saw this Pit Lord, the first game, we kind of felt like we could deal with it. And then the second game, we were ready. We were like, we're just going to get this Pit Lord. And then when they didn't ban it, you know, everyone's eyes lit up and we kind of just thought the game was over as soon as we were able to get Pit Lord last pick. But
yeah,
I mean,
even Sunset was able to make that call.
He was. Embarrassing.
Even me. Yes,
even
me.
Suns fan.
Yeah.
Jenkins, please.
Oh, what? Did you ask a question? Okay.
I have another one lined up, but I was waiting
no
for
mulligans.
you
No
to
mulligans.
be polite,
Be quiet,
you know?
please. Sasez was used to this at this point. He keeps. I mean, it's like the 5th interview. Okay. So my question is: have you guys, when you're between games, are you super focused on the actual games itself? Like, would you guys have gone on Twitter between games and like seen anything that's going on and the internet? Anything in particular?
Well, I actually went to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, opened my Snapchat.
Okay.
A few Snapchats with the friends.
So I have a question for you. What would you think? Just totally random question. What would you think about a Dota anime on Netflix? What would you think about like an idea like that?
I saw it, so.
Oh, shit.
That's the first thing. After the first game, I opened my Dota and I just go, "What the fuck?" I was like,
it was on Dota. That's right.
Like,
that's
what
right.
is this?
What do you think about that? I'm curious.
Why did they pick DK? That's all.
That's what I said. That's what I
Most
said.
boring season opener coming our way.
Like I don't know, man. DK, like you could have picked so many cooler heroes. Like OD, his name's Outworld Destroyer or something. Devourer. I don't even know.
I think
he's cooler than DK. That's all I know.
He is cooler. So you'd pick OD, not Rubik?
I mean, Rubik would be in there with OD. They kind of seem like they're from the same place.
Yeah, they
No,
kind
I
of
mean-
You have Invoker, right? And there's some ties between Rubik and Invoker, I believe, in the lore. I could have just made that up, and I'm gonna pretend
Oh.
that's actually true. So you
they're
never
both
know.
like wizards or something. They go to
Yeah,
like that
there's way
Dumbledore school
cooler
or whatever.
heroes.
Yeah.
All right, I have a follow-up question. What is the lore? Speaking of lore, behind your team name, A Team? How did you guys come up with that?
That was actually it was my decision to change the team name. Like we first were Aristotle, and then I decided to change it to A Team. And to be honest, like I don't really know. I mean, I do know, but it's kind of like cringe, so I don't really want to say it. But the
Oh, come on, come on.
the logo is more like what I was aiming at. Like I wanted A Team
Mhm.
because then I wanted the logo to represent uh yeah. I'll just the logo basically means like different kinds of things. It's a triskelion or triskelion. I'm not even sure how you pronounce it, but it can mean like all kinds of different things. Like if you think about it in a wolf pack, it's like alpha, beta, omega. It means that the alpha can fall to the omega and the omega could rise to alpha. And it basically just means that like, we're a team, no one's above each other. It could mean earth, wind, fire. It's just very zen like.
Cool.
You know what I mean? There's a couple
Yeah, that's not
meanings to it.
cringe.
that's
That's
cool.
That's badass. That's good shit.
That's a perfect tie-in because apparently the people that animated this Dota new anime did Legends of Korra, which is the follow-up to The Last Airbender. A lot of elemental lore there, my friends. Perfect tie-in.
Yeah, so you guys
Very
can
nice. That's pretty cool
look
though.
that up. It's like a ancient Celtic thing.
Cool.
I feel like that's just like a whole thing in itself. Now, after hearing this, after we've heard SVG talk about his name, there's a whole philosophy between the Dota players and how close they actually tie
makes
to their
me-
names and
yeah,
tags.
It makes me, I don't know, it makes me more invested emotionally because it feels like because I don't know, it's just that kind of thing is just like stuck with me through like life, like certain things. I don't know, it just makes you feel like you have more purpose. Like you see this symbol in the lobby and you're like, I gotta fucking own, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's my flag, baby. That's
Yeah.
my
No,
flag.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
SVG himself said if you can get like a 5% increase from just a little bit of like psychological tricks, like that's worth it because that's what it takes to win a game. So it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Sorry for
Which-
swearing, guys. Don't mean to.
No,
Oh, we
yeah.
we
Yeah,
do
how
it all
dare
the
you.
time. No problem. We're
Yeah,
good.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much, though, for being so humble. Of course, Zabo, we appreciate you always jumping on to get on the mic, and I will now let you go. So congratulations on your win today, and we wait to see how that black and yellow Sad Boy series goes, and if your future is 100% concrete or not. We await.
All right.
Thank you.
Love all the viewers. Check out my Twitch. Thank you. Thank you.
Hit him up. Zabo. Is it SBZABO 666 Joker 69 Taco? I don't know, something like that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm happy to see them win because, like, let's just assume. I know that's a big assumption here, but let's just assume Black and Yellow loses their matchup and we get to see A Team again next season. I think that's really cool to see, like, these storylines of a team progressing, getting better, a team that we had never heard of before. They're a lot of fun to watch. That's one thing that even in their losses early on, because they didn't win a single game for a few series, but they were entertaining, and not a lot of them were like stomps. A lot of them were like they had a chance to make it a game.
The man said it himself. He's moving up in the wolf pack. That's exactly what we get to see. He predicted it before the season even started. And I think we were talking about this on your podcast yesterday, Suns fan. Like this team to me is like my favorite thing that I've seen in this season so far, is because like the idea behind this season, at least for NA, was like we wanted these up and coming teams to actually get practice and get better. And like A Team has done exactly that. So they're like the poster children of this idea behind the season. So good on them. Like I'm glad we had somebody that's doing this. It's awesome.
And trust me, I'm all for the anime and Netflix stuff, but Valve, we really got to get these fan support packs going so that we can show some love to these teams that are creating these storylines.
The teams that are literally not playing again this season. That's crazy. They're done, right?
no.
A-Team, I think, is done.
They're done.
I mean,
that's it.
That's a good segue point. I want to be able to check out, of course, our updated standings for the upper division before we embark on our break and delve into the lower division. Let's see what, based on today's result, where we could currently stand. So Still, the juggernauts up at the top. Evil Geniuses 5-0, Quincy Crew 4-0. They finally collide this week on Thursday. We are super stoked about that one. Undying, for Zoomers, and Sad Boys still battling it out in the middle of the pack. Lots of very important matches to come, even with this week. Undying are going to start to play the 4 Zoomers. Sad Boys are going to start to playing the Undyings, and things are going to get very interesting in the middle there, and could get more interesting if somehow EG or Quincy do drop games. And then, of course, today we witnessed A-Team manage to take down 5ManMidas. This does mathematically take out 5ManMidas from the whole upper division. They will be able to play Evil Geniuses, one last super scrim for them on the last week, but yeah.
They could tie though. They could tie, right? Like Black and Yellow's if they go 1-6, if they lose, they can tie for 7. Oh, and then they're out. Okay.
Yeah, it could be in prize pool. There's still like a prize pool adjustment between those final 2 spots, so there is some meaning to it. But as far as staying in the upper division, I think that's kind of already set in stone. But still, hype matches to come between the Black and Yellow and Sad Boy series. That could still, change the future for A-Team depending on how that series does go. So, lots of exciting hype stuff to come for upper division action, gentlemen.
Yep, can't wait. Shaping up. I mean, on one end, we have, teams that we kind of expected to be towards the top, but I think it's gone a little bit differently than we thought, especially from the bottom side. It's good to see A-Team come out of keep saying that, but I guess we'll find out in the next week whether that's actually the case.
Yeah, fair enough. And with that, I can kind of just take the separate division and put it on its own little box for now, because we have business to move forward into. Looking at the clock, we are going to have a little bit of a break. This is actually going to be a pretty tiny break here for us to kind of refresh ourselves and get psyched up and ready for lower division action. But don't go too far, because when we return, we're going to embark on the Felt versus Team Dog Champ.